Hi again. So the next phase of humanity is progress. Our human side, I'm not talking about the being side, I'm not talking about the consciousness or the mind or whatever, I'm talking about the human side. When we look at a human, we have three phases, like I spoke about in my last videos. We are fulfilled or unfulfilled in life, the human self. We are progressing or not progressing. We are balanced or imbalanced. So we already talked about fulfillment, we already talked about balance. Now we're talking about the third phase of life, third phase of human life, which is progress. You are either progressing in life or not. Or you are either progressing in some areas of your life. When you look at the 9 areas of life, you're progressing in some areas and you're maybe not progressing in some areas. You're either progressing or not progressing. So what does progress mean? Progress means that you have a goal and you are in action working towards your goal. Progress means growing, expanding in certain areas of your life, or my mission or my vision for all of you is growing in all areas of your life, because I know it's possible and I've been experiencing it in my life. So when I coach people or when I train people, I train them or coach them into expanding in all areas of their lives, growing in all areas of your life. Because like I said in my previous videos, I know your life, you won't feel balanced. The human self won't feel balanced and fulfilled unless you see yourself growing and expanding in all the areas of your life. And I want to underline that many people fool themselves thinking being fulfilled and having fulfillment in life in our humanity is the same thing. It's not the same thing. I've been meditating for over 20 years, day and night, in the morning and in the evening. So I'm a person who already knows what fulfillment is. I am, in my being, fulfilled. And no matter what happens in my life, I'm going to be fulfilled. In my being, in my consciousness, no matter what happens, I feel whole. No matter what happens, even if I don't have any money, nothing going on, business, no friends, no family, no relationship, no health, no social, whatever. I'm a person who has been meditating, so I will be balanced and fulfilled in my being no matter what. So I get that, you know. When people who meditate, when people who do yoga say that, I get that. But that doesn't mean my human self found fulfillment. Don't fool yourself, because I see a lot of people who go out there like with this in this fantasy land, thinking the fulfillment in their being is the same thing with the fulfillment as a human. No, it's not the same thing. Being fulfilled as a human, having a balanced human life, is very different than feeling balanced in your being. You can be very balanced in your mind. You can be fully awake in your mind, in your consciousness. You got it. You can be fully awake. But until I see a full balance in your life, I know you're not living a fully fulfilled human life. Human life and our etheric being, our being, are two different parts. So today I'm talking about, this is not a meditation training, I'm not talking about meditation, and I do talk about meditation as well, and the etheric and the being as well, and the mind and the consciousness. Today I'm talking about the human being. For the human being to be fulfilled, to have a balanced life, that human being needs to be in progress. So in human life, one thing works and one thing works only. And you probably, if you have been in one of my trainings or seminars or lectures, you probably know that I talk about this a lot. The human world acts with action. So the results we get in our human reality equals to the actions we take. The more action, the more results. The wiser the action, the wiser the result. And that wiseness, the wising, comes from how many hours you spend with your being. So the wisdom, the wisening of humanity comes from the being and the times I spent with myself, with my being. But the result I get in my world depends on the actions I take. I'm going to tell you a story. A few years ago, I was skiing in Megève, and I like skiing during winter time. And because I was with my children, I had to ski with them the whole time. And one day I wanted to ski alone because I wanted to go to higher, levels and different pistes and go around by myself. And I skied in the morning. And then I wanted to rest a bit, so I went to a cafe on the top of a mountain. It was just a small little coffee place. And I was drinking my coffee, and an older man came up to me, and we started chatting, and he was talking about fashion and design. We talked about my jacket. He liked the color of my jacket, and he asked me where it's from, and then we talked about fashion, design, and the whole life experience, where I was living, where he was living. Then he started asking me questions. Do you know the brand Ted Baker? And I said, oh yes, I know Ted Baker, and because at the time being I wasn't living in London, but we still had a house in London, so I was going back and forth, and I knew Ted Baker. And he asks me, did you shop there? I said, I think once or twice. Did you like it? Yes. Do you like the design? Yes. And then we spoke about Ted Baker a little bit. And then he says, I'm Ted Baker himself. I'm like, nice to meet you. Did you work too much to become Ted Baker? So I wanted him to answer. I wanted to know, what does it take to be Ted Baker? What does it take to have that brand? Because it was the first time, because I'm not in fashion industry, it was the first time I met a guy in the fashion industry with a big brand. And he said, I didn't work much, I worked wise. And then I got that, he had that wisdom. So human being together, if you're connected with your being, that human, because he takes wiser steps, he doesn't have to work much, he doesn't have to invest much, because it's the executive mind with the being that's working. You just take the necessary steps, necessary actions, and you get the result. If you don't spend time with your being, if you don't meditate, if you don't work on your mind, if you don't work on your consciousness, if you are not on the executive mind level, but if you're in the animal mind level, watch my videos about the executive mind and animal mind for detailed information, what the executive mind, what the animal mind is. If you're in the animal mind on a lower consciousness, no matter how many action steps you have, you might not get the results of an individual like Ted Baker. So you have to get that, because there are lots of coaches, there are lots of people talking about it and telling people that it all depends on action. It all depends on which steps you take. If you take the right actions, if you set goals, take the right actions, you will get to that result. No. Because it depends on the level of consciousness. You will get results. By the actions you take, you will get results. But the level of those results, if I'm talking about wealth, having $1 million or $1 billion depends on the level of your consciousness. So I had to state that because I'm talking about progress. If you are working on your mind, meditating, and you're not doing anything, and you're not in action, you won't get any results at all. So there are people who are in action, just because they are not meditating regularly, doing mind work, doing consciousness work, coming to our courses, they're not getting the results they want because of a mind level, because it's a mind level to get higher results. If you want $1 billion, that's a mindset, that's a level of consciousness. If you want to get basic results, just keep on doing basic things and keep on working with actions. So in the coaching world, I see a lot of coachings talking about, if you take the right action, you're going to get to that result. I'm a teacher who also teaches expanding consciousness and methods to expand consciousness, and a meditation teacher also, and a human behavioralist. So I won't tell you something like that, because that's a fantasy, doing all the actions and getting results. Of course, you need a level. You need to work on your consciousness to get higher results. And yet you also need action. I also meet a lot of people who are meditating, who are doing meditation, consciousness work, mind work, but because they don't take steps, because they don't have an action plan, they don't work on goals, they don't have that balanced life, they're not moving anywhere. If you don't take actions, there are no results. So that's Basic as that. No action, no result. And so people are either fulfilled, unfulfilled, progressing, not progressing, balanced or imbalanced. That's just basic phases of life. And when you come to progress, progress equals to action. So when I summarize them all, fulfillment equals to understanding that you're living your life according to your values, understanding that balance is the first and the only common value of humankind. Balance, a balanced life. We all want to succeed in all areas in our lives. So write that down and don't ever fool yourself on that. We all want, I've spent time with enough people, I have coached enough people, I have trained enough people, thousands, hundred thousands of people to know now by heart, to be certain that all humans want to succeed in all areas of their lives. You want balance. You love your life when it's in balance, and you know it by heart. You would love to see your life in full balance, and that's our first value. And when we have a balanced life, when we are living according to our values, we have a fulfilled, balanced life. And when we're progressing, we see that we're progressing in all areas. So these are the three phases of life. And when people progress, live a balanced, fulfilled life, what happens is, I think that's enlightenment. That's real enlightenment. Those people who are progressing the whole time, in action the whole time, who live a fulfilled and balanced life, they're just this light beings who are creating with their full potential and living an extraordinary life. So I want that extraordinary life for each and every person I ever meet and whoever came to my courses or lectures. And that's possible. That's possible with asking questions and using the right methods. And when that happens, there's only one real feeling, and that's gratitude. You wake up in the morning and you're fully grateful for your life, and you keep on progressing and keeping your life balanced and living your life with values each and every day and each and every moment, because it expands your gratitude. See you next time. Thank you for listening.